So you're looking for a brand to offer your customers the ultimate in sound quality, especially when it comes to amplifiers? Well, I think the brand that we're focusing on today absolutely delivers on that. Of course, we're talking about Mosconi, made in Italy from its inception and delivering top level sound quality products and amplifiers since day one. Today, we've got product expert GERMAN SCHULMEISTER in the studio with us to give us all the details on the latest lineup from this brand. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Mosconi. And it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Network session here, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we are talking about car audio, and more specifically, a brand that has found its way into so many top-level builds everywhere you look, but also an amazing offering when it comes to OEM integration solutions with DSP amplification. Now, we're talking about Mosconi, a brand born and bred in Italy that has really made a name for itself. Now, like mentioned from the top of the show, we've got their product specialist, GERMAN, in the studio with us today. GERMAN, give us a quick outline of the type of products that we're going to be discussing today.
Hi, Ben. It's really nice to be here. And today we're going to be talking about not just about the amplifiers, but we're going to talk about the new Aero 8 to 12 DSP. We're also going to be talking about our Pro Series, our 1 Series, and even our little compact amplifiers, Pico and Atomo Series.
Oh, lots of amplifiers to cover on today's show for sure. But first, let's give an opportunity to our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you dealers out there why you love it. And when we come back, deep dive into Mosconi amplifier solutions.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
All right, guys, welcome back. So as mentioned, we've got GERMAN from Mosconi joining us today. So the first question out of the gate, for some dealers, maybe they're hearing about Mosconi for the first time. I thought it'd be a great opportunity just to give us a little bit of background so we understand the DNA that is Mosconi and some of the values and features that really set it apart as a brand and manufacturer within the car audio space.
Well, Ben, Mosconi started back in 2007 with a simple mission that was make the best sounding amplifiers possible. And I think they achieved that mission really well. I mean, even back when they started in 2007 with the AES amplifiers, probably some of the car audio fanatics will remember the silver big chassis AES amplifiers that have been so great, and they have now been replaced with the Pro Series, which are even smaller and they sound better. But I mean, from the inception, the brand only has a focus on quality and sound quality and build quality too. And I mean, when you look at the product, you can see everything is handmade in Italy. Even the chassis are extruded from a single piece of aluminum. The product just screams quality all around it. And the people that work at Mosconi are really proud of what they're doing. Actually, all of the people that started on the founding year in 2007, they are still there. Even the owner still goes every day to a factory. They supersede every operation. I mean, it's a brand that is really proud of making the best sounding amplifiers out there.
You know, GERMAN, it's very hard to argue the lineage and the fact that every product from Mosconi to this day is handmade and manufactured in Italy. Dealers, I hope you understand the value in that. That can certainly be communicated to your customer. We're talking about a brand that is very unique in this sense. So very, very interesting fact indeed. Now, let's get into some product. I always like starting from what's new and fresh. And one of the latest things that come out from the Mosconi camp is a brand new standalone DSP. I'm going to let GERMAN kind of talk about the details, but we're talking about the all-new DSP AEROSPACE standalone processor.
When it was a really hard task to come up with a new Aero 8 to 12, not because it's hard to develop a new product, but it's hard to make the best even better, right? So we just went over the product and see how we could improve it and make it better. And of course, the first thing that we came up with a conclusion is that we needed a BT Plus port, which is the slot card for Barney, which is our latest innovation. So the Aero 8 to 12 is now fully compatible with Barney. We also raise crucial areas and increase the sound performance to a new level. We have an active overall bias stabilization. It just increases sound performance. It minimizes the distortion. We improve the channel separation. I mean, I don't want to get too technical, but overall, it just even if it just looks like a new black case, the product has been redesigned from the ground up just with the focus on improving the sound quality. And it's been a hard job, but the product really sounds way better than its predecessor. So the Aero 8 to 12, same as its predecessor, has 8 analog inputs and 12 analog outputs, but that's just not it. It also has a coaxial input. It has digital toslink inputs and outputs, so you can route one DSP to the other just using the optical output, and you don't have to lose any of the analog outputs if you're willing to do that. You have a standard BT plus port card for plugging either a high-res stream model directly into a DSP, or you can plug Barney, our latest innovation, directly to a DSP. We also improved the USB connection, and now the product has a USB-C, which is more reliable than the older mini USB versions. And overall, it looks way better, and it just flows with our Pro series and 1 series of amplifiers with this black stealth look that everyone really loves.
Very exciting news with this new standalone AEROSPACE DSP. Love some of those features, and I think guys are going to absolutely fall in love, especially when they see the Toslink in and out and so on and so forth. And yeah, the aesthetic appeal, of course it matches, which is a great segue to our next line of product that we want to talk about. And I've said this before, arguably one of the sexiest amplifiers in the market. Those red fans absolutely kill me every single time I see them installed. Of course, we're talking about the Pro Series. This is an amplifier class only, German. So why don't you talk a little bit about what the Pro Series represents, and we'll get into some of the models.
So Ben, to me, the Pro series of amplifiers represent, as you said, they are the sexiest amp out there, but they are also a great sounding and small amplifier that you can hide literally everywhere. I mean, we've all seen plenty of installs from the top builders on the world using these amplifiers. They are super compact, they are super efficient, they can handle a lot of power, they can handle abuse. And now with the new additions on the big chassis, the chassis that we call the 30 chassis, we have an 8-channel with built-in DSP, and we have a 4-channel, which is a Class A and AB amp. It has a sliding bias, and that amp was designed to sound as a tube amplifier. I mean, if you guys get a chance to listen to that amp, that is something amazing. The sound that amplifier produced, I've never heard anything similar to that. It's just amazing. So the amplifier we're looking at here is it's our Pro Series 530. It's our 30 chassis, which is the biggest offering. It comes in a 5-channel, a 4-channel, and an 8-channel with built-in DSP. Now we're going to focus on the 5-channel that we're looking in the image. As you can see, it's a really beautiful amp. It's a solid aluminum construction. The heatsink is built into the amp. It doesn't use the chassis as a heatsink. That's why you see those red fans inside the amplifier. They're just pulling the heat out of the heatsink. I think that's a really cool feature, that the amp itself is not the heatsink, so it doesn't head as hot as a traditional amp. All the heat is built inside the heatsink of the amp, and it's getting dissipated through those sexy fans right there. The Mosconi logo also lights up when the amplifier is turned on, and it's controlled by a microprocessor. So that logo also flashes and lets you know if the amp has any issues or if you run into some technical difficulties. One of our tech support guys can easily identify what's going on with the DSP. The power supply for these amplifiers is controlled again by an Adnon microprocessor, which is really cool. It keeps the voltage stable across all the circuit board. And on this example, we have a 5-channel staggered amplifier, which means channels 1 and 2 have a little bit less power than channels 3 and 4. So it's a perfect system, let's say, if you're doing a 2-way active system as a subwoofer. For your channels 1 and 2, we can connect our tweeters, which will be pushing between 90 to 120 watts, depending on the impedance of the speakers. Channels 3 and 4 are going to be pushing 170 watts for the mid bass. And for the sub, you're going to get 600 watts or 1,000 watts at 2 ohms, depending on your load configuration. The 4 channels for the speakers are Class AB, and the channel for the sub is Class D. So we have both. We have the best sounding class possible for the speakers, and then we have the efficiency as a Class D amplifier for the subwoofer. That's how we can fit all that power inside this small chassis, and such a good sounding amplifier. Our cool feature about all of our Pro Series amplifiers is that they have all the controls that are hidden behind a magnetic cover. And we have a direct DSP, which means, I mean, almost everybody nowadays is using a DSP for for our systems. So we don't really need the gain structure, crossovers, and everything on the amplifier. We're doing all of that on the DSP. So if we hit the direct DSP switch on any of our Pro amplifiers, that will completely bypass all the input stage. You have no gain control, no crossover. All of those features are bypassed, and the signal from the DSP goes straight into the amplifier. That gives us a better signal to noise ratio for the better sound possible.
All right, we're going to move on from the Pro Series, even though, man, that is a fan favorite, no doubt about it. And you're right, Herman, we have seen that amplifier installed in so many top-level systems, and it's just, yeah, it's just one of those things. So anyhow, we have other amplifiers that we want to discuss because each series serves a different purpose. The next series we're going to examine is something called the One Series. Maybe it stands for One Solution, because this series offers both amplifiers as well as amplifiers with built-in DSP.
Correct, Ben. And the way I would best describe the One Series would be probably one of the best all-in-one amplifiers with built-in DSP and a great sound quality. I mean, look at this. This chassis comes in both 4 channels, 6 channels, or 8 channels of amplification, all on the same chassis. The 4 channel gets 4 times 130, the 6 channel gets 6 times 100, and the 8 channel gets 8 times 90 watts, all at 4 ohms. Chassis is fairly compact. I mean, you can literally mount this under a seat. You can mount it behind a rear panel. I mean, it's a fairly easy to integrate chassis, considering it's still a Class AV analog and great sounding amplifier. We have on all of our amplifiers, we have our inputs on one side, the outputs on the other side. I mean, it's just a great amplifier when you're looking to go like a step above from our traditional OEM integration amplifiers, like the Class D compact amps. This is a step up, but you don't have to go through all the hassle of mounting a DSP and then running RCAs to the amplifier and then to the other side. You have a single chassis that could do the whole system. It's, as I said, fairly small, great looking. I mean, it's a really, it's an amp that I love using. On this image, we're looking at our 3 offerings on the one line with DSP amplifier. The 148, which has 4 internal amplified channels and 8 outputs for the DSP. We have the 1.6-10, which is 6 channels of amplification, 10 channels of DSP, and the 8-10, which has 8 channels of amplification and again 10 outputs of DSP. And on our next slide, we're going to look at the standalone monoblock amplifier, the 1000-watt mono amplifier, which shares the same chassis and the same looks as the ones with DSP. So that allows us to not only do a great install, but also have matching looking amplifiers, which is really cool.
No doubt in my mind that One Series is going to be a go-to series from just the perspective, I think, of price point meets solution. And the all chassis kind of solution is certainly something that's really popular right now. Jamming in as many channels as possible, especially with the stagger type of power that Moscone is known for. I think those are absolute winners. Now, another category that Moscone has certainly found a big success in is small footprint. I mean, really small micro footprint amplifiers that pack a punch. We're referring to 2 different series, one in the Pico and the other in the Atomo. So Herman, maybe let's start with the Pico series of amplifiers and what makes these tiny little performers so special.
I mean, I think a picture says more than 1,000 words. Take a look at this, Ben. This is an 8-channel amplifier with 10 channels of DSP built in. It has 4 channels of 50 watts and 4 channels of 90 watts. You can even bridge it to drive 215 watts, so you can even power a full system with a sub with this little amp. I mean, it's something unbelievable. I was skeptical when Moscone first launched these amps because I wasn't sure how much power would they pull, but even if they have a really small chassis, I mean, they are just unbelievable. The power they pack, they are great sounding amps. I mean, we've done plenty of cars. We use them a lot on hybrids, EVs, even on RVs, because they just pull so little power. Even if you have a car like, let's say, a Tesla, where you're having issues with the power or with the small batteries, these amps they just kill it for those systems. And speaking about Teslas, these are even compatible with the 16-volt systems on the new cars. So you can just, with our integration harness, you can just plug in one of these Pico amps straight into the harness, straight into the car, and you do that great installation in 10 minutes or less. As you can see here, Ben, we have a large selection of amplifiers. We have 3 options with built-in DSP, a 4-channel 4 times 90 with an 8-channel DSP. We have a 6 channels with this 4 times 50 and 2 times 90, which is bridgeable to 215 watts, also with 8-channel DSP. And we have the 8 channel that I showed you guys before with 8 channels of output and 10 channels of DSP. We also have non-DSP versions as a 4 channel, 4 times 90 without the DSP. And we have a monoblock on the same size that does 500 at 4 ohms and 750 watts at 2 ohms. It's really unbelievable how good and how powerful they are for such a small chassis. The other series that we're going to talk about, it's the Atomo series of amps, which are even smaller than the Pico amps. It's crazy how small and how powerful they are. So here on the image bin, we have the full lineup of the Atomo amplifiers, and we also have a standalone DSP, which is the one on the top of the picture. The Atomo 426 is, as its name mentions, a 4-input and 6-output DSP that just could fit literally everywhere. And you know, the coolest feature to me even about this DSP, it just powers with the USB, which is the 5 volts the USB provides. What that means for our dealers is that they can use it as a test tool. Often I found issues like while doing an install or I don't know the signal that a car handles. Instead of grabbing my tools or anything from a toolbox, I'll just grab an Atomo 426 from the shelf, just plug it to my laptop, hook up my test leads, and I can know what type of signal the car has, if it has an all pass or anything. I mean, it's just crazy for that size. It's amazing. We also use it a lot for motorcycles, for RVs, or for smaller applications. I mean, it's just so easy to install anywhere. It's the same as the amps. They are on the same chassis. We have a 2-channel amplifier and we have a monoblock. We have the Atomo 2 gives you 2 times 100 watts at 4 ohms, and it gives you 120 watts at 2 ohms. It's again a great amp if you're using a motorcycle. If you're doing a small system on a car, you can tag it behind the fairing, you can tag it behind the radio, literally anywhere. The monoblock that we're showing right now is 350 watts at 2 ohms. It's just crazy, that power. And as the Mosconi name says, it's not just power, just they sound good too. They're great sounding amps. We also have a chassis which is a little bit bigger, which is the one on the right, which is the Atomo 4. That's a 4-channel amplifier, which gives you 4 times 70 watts at 4 ohms. You could use that amp just to power a simple system, hide it anywhere, or if you're doing a really complex and high-end system, you can use this little amp to power your center channel or your rear field or your surround speakers, which is also a great offering both for the entry-level systems and also for really high-end systems.
Absolutely unbelievable, the size of those amplifiers. I think they're so well named in the Atomo. Very, very cool. And yeah, I mean, the opportunities to install these little guys is endless. In fact, it got me wondering what it would sound like to build a little microsystem. Could be fun. Last, we're going to touch on a very important category that is always becoming more headline news, more relevant as time moves forward. We're talking about plug-and-play solutions. Now, that term is used widely in our industry, but I believe when it comes to Mosconi offering plug-and-play solutions, we're talking about an all-in harnessed solution for application-specific situations. Please, Herman, why don't you give us some updates onto some of the popular applications for your plug-and-play modules?
Our most popular options for the plug-and-play harnesses bin would be 3 brands, would be BMW, Mercedes, and Tesla. We have offerings for almost any BMW on the road from 06 and up. We have an offering that goes even for the basic systems, car with Harman Kardon, cars with B&O, cars with BMW. We have a solution that plugs right into them. No preamplifier required, so your customer doesn't have to involve an extra cost of adding a preamplifier. I mean, we have offerings for Tesla, Model 3, Y, S, and X, all the cars, even the new Model 3s and Ys with the 18-volt systems. We have a solution for them. For Mercedes too, for the basic cars and the ones with the Burmeister system. And let me show you a cool feature about those harnesses too, Ben. Right here in my hand, I'm holding a 1 amplifier and a Pico amplifier, and they both share the same plug for the speaker connections right here. That means that we can just use the same harness on a Pico amplifier or on a 1 amplifier. So our dealers can easily upsell from just a plug-and-play system to a really high-end system with a better sounding amp using the exact same harness.
And that was Mosconi's German Schulmeister giving us all the details on every amplifier and standalone DSP in the new AEROSPACE, as well as some new plug-and-play solutions that are coming to you from the Mosconi camp. Now, if you're interested in finding out more information on any product coming out of Mosconi, make sure you check out the website on the screen here. And if you happen to be in Canada, well, then you need to know that the official distributor for Mosconi is Trends Electronics. And of course, if you knew that, then you know I got to reach out to my man, Grant McFadder, to get a little bit of his perspective on the brand. Now, when it comes to Mosconi in Canada, This is obviously a higher end product, but what I've learned today, Grant, is it's a full suite of products from, entry level, maybe not entry level, because I don't think Moscone does entry level, but a more affordable offering all the way up to the ultimate high end, and now including some OEM integration and plug and play solutions. What do you have to say to Canadian dealers when it comes to Moscone?
I think you saw the offering today from DSP all the way through amplifiers. I mean, there's amplifiers we didn't even cover today. There's the A class, there's the AS series which are just being phased out. But man, it's a massive lineup of amplifiers, 12 standalone or integrated DSP products. We've got a solution for pretty much every need, whether it's small, tiny chassis requirements in the Atomos. Our most popular series is the Pro series. Again, you're getting a really compact amplifier with gobs and gobs of power to it, or you wanting a full Class A series amplifiers or zero amplifiers, which would take up the size of this table. They're massive, beautiful sounding amplifiers, but they're not small. Overall, I think, top to bottom, whether it's a size issue, you can stand behind, or we stand behind that everything that's got the Moscone name on it sounds amazing. And we give you a better offering than most other brands out there.
Now, for some dealers tuning in, you might be wondering, well, Ben, why don't we get into some of the other stuff that Moscone is known for, such as the DSP? And yes, you heard the Barney being mentioned. Grant, what can dealers expect in the future when it comes to diving a little bit deeper into this subject?
We're going to deep dive into that in another episode later on in the season, Ben. So DSPs, Herman's going to go through the full lineup of DSP products. And then also we're going to get deep into Barney. So, stay tuned for that. Barney's another category that's really taking the industry by storm, making your install lives a lot easier. And not only the top installer in the world can use it, every installer or dumbass sales guy like me can use it. We were actually down in California, and all the sales reps from Orca and myself and Karen from Trends were there, and we tuned a car ourselves. So if we can do it, it makes your guys' life a lot easier.
I want to take this opportunity and thank my two guests today, both GERMAN SCHULMEISTER from Moscone and Orca, as well as Grant McFadder from Trends Electronics. And in closing, when it comes to Moscone, there's no doubt, I think it's proven in today's session, this is a top-tier brand that really sets itself in its own category, in the sense that when they can claim that every single part, down to the board, the components, the extruded chassis, all of it is still handmade in Italy, that means something to a lot of people, and you dealers should take that into consideration. Add to that now the selection that they have between amplifiers, types of amplifiers, DSP integrated amplifiers, and standalone DSP, and we didn't even talk about Barney yet. This is certainly a brand that you can count on to deliver on solutions, OEM integration, and top-notch sound quality for your customers. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM, with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.